And it's not just governments who are in Brazil. Businesses make up a major part of the discussions at COP30. Among them is one of the UK's leading energy firms, which has been at the forefront of incentivising customers to switch to renewable energy. Zoisa Northbond is CEO of energy generation at Octopus. She's been speaking to Juliet Mann.
I think this time there has to be a focus on national plans specifically, because having a look, I think at the moment only 61 countries have submitted plans to lower emissions, which is only going to cover a third of what we need by 2035. So it's really important, I think, that people now knuckle down and start not only reiterating targets but coming up with the solutions that are going to create what we need to lower emissions. And I think none more so than now that we do that, and specifically for those countries that are going to be experiencing climate change and are experiencing climate change. We could see that just last week.
But what would you like to see happening in the UK in particular to accelerate the renewable energy timeline? There are big challenges to storage, aren't there, and to consider.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in the UK, net zero is going to remain popular as long as we can keep costs down, and I think that's super important. So making sure that if we're using energy, clean energy, we're doing it in a way that makes the most of its flexibility. So that ability to store an abundance of those electrons in car batteries as they're rolled out, building out storage, but really designing those propositions that are going to resonate with consumers. We have one tariff within Octopus called Intelligent Octopus, for example, whereby consumers can plug in their cars, tell us when they want it charging and by how much, and we'll make sure that that happens. But then we also can work with the national grid. So when energy is at its deficit because maybe the wind isn't blowing or the sun isn't shining, we have this ability to jump on and help balance the grid with the power from those batteries. And in fact, I think at last count we've got almost 2 gigawatts, which is the equivalent of 2 nuclear power stations that can jump on and balance the grid at any given time, which was built in under 2 years, so much quicker than building nuclear power or indeed other generation. So very, very important that we look to those types of things and start to make grids flexible so that we can get more net zero electrons onto the grid and really meet those targets that we're setting.
But you said that it will be popular as long as we can keep the costs down. So what are you doing at Octopus Energy to help educate the public, the consumers?
If we have a turbine that's close to you in your village or town, if you sign up to a tariff and you're willing to follow a price signal that we send you on your mobile phone or to your computer and say it's going to be really windy today, consumers can get as much as 50% off their energy bill for doing that. It's a tariff called Fan Club. So what we then do is almost flip this on its head, and green energy isn't expensive. It's actually something where if consumers understand it better in quick and easy ways through technology and all of the things that we have available, they get that ability to use it cheaper, and it becomes really popular. We had 45,000 communities write to us in the UK and ask us to come and build a wind turbine in their back garden if it meant that they could have a tariff like this.
If you could wave a magic wand at COP and have one thing change, what would it be?
It's really around now making sure that we've got a just transition and a fair transition, and looking at some of the capital flows and making sure that they go now into emerging markets. As Octopus, we work on the African continent. We're building Sierra Leone's first wind farm, and I'm also very conscious very often that those are the nations that are feeling the effects of climate change most greatly. They're also the places where it's hardest to attract capital to invest. So I would like to see at this COP obviously the ability to do all the things for the UK, but also make sure that we really do flip the equation, and there are now there's a focus on capital but innovative ideas that are going into places that really need them most.